Hello, everyone, and welcome to our collective new moon reading in Cancer. And so I felt really guided to go to Colette Baron Reid's The Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, as well as the Oracle of the Angels, to give us an overall forecast for this new moon and how we can really start to work with those energies. And we have to remember, what is a new moon for? A new moon is all about us setting those intentions. And so I've already drawn the five cards, and we're going to start with our first one, which is the Swan Queen: transformation, intuition, and patience. However, she's in the reverse position. And so when she comes in this reverse position, she's really asking us, and she's saying, where are you being overly analytical? Where are you not allowing spirit to really enter into the conversation? Now, she also has a secondary message, which I think goes great with Cancer because it's telling us that we need to also come out of our shells. We need to acknowledge that the world is not there to hurt us, that the world is instead a learning device, something that can help us to grow. And what is it helping us to grow into? It's helping us to grow into our vastness. It's helping us to remember our vastness and remember that spirit is always there, always guiding us, always helping us in whatever way, shape, or form. And we have to look at as well, like, where am I limiting myself? Where am I stuck in my little box, in my little comfort zone? And where am I willing to take a step out of that into something new? And, the ego is going to be like, oh, no, 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 no. We can't do new things because, new things are scary. And I don't know what's going to happen. And what if I fail? And, all of these different things. And what we have to do is be willing to follow the guidance of our spirit. And how do we know we're following guidance? By the way we feel. If we're feeling good, if we're feeling excited, yes. Is there going to be some intrepidation and fear because we're trying new things? Sure. However, there's going to be more of a sense of that excitement, of that like good feeling. And what we want to do is we want to be very clear about our own boundaries and our own discipline, which discipline to me in this reading really means not so much about discipline, it's more about our commitment. And it's also, where are we holding on? Like, where are we still wearing armor? Where can we become more vulnerable in our lives? Now, being vulnerable doesn't mean being a welcome mat for everyone, just letting everyone walk all over you. That's not what it means to be vulnerable. And it doesn't mean to be, a sad blanket or a wet blanket. There we go. It just means that you're willing to express your truth in that moment. And we have to look at, like, where am I still wearing armor? Where am I still wearing a mask? Where am I still not allowing myself to be vulnerable? Where am I not necessarily committed to harmony in my life? Where am I not committed to expanding past my own preconceived notions about what I am capable of? And then we have our next card, which is the Keeper of the Scales: fairness and balance. And what this card is telling us is that we have to align ourselves. Again, align ourselves with harmony. And once we do align ourselves with harmony, that's when the whole universe, everything around us, is going to be conspiring together for the highest good of all. And we have to remember that when we come into that harmony, no one loses, everyone wins. That's how spirit works. Spirit doesn't work by you coming into harmony and then, someone else loses their job so you can take it, so you can get the promotion. That's not how spirit works. Spirit works in fairness. Spirit works in harmony. So it works out for everybody involved. And something else that I want to actually read to you from this card is the law of harmony is enacted when the keeper of the scales comes to you as an ally. And she has come to us as an ally because she came upright. And it says, align with her as the law states, making conscious choices to create harmony in your life. When you do, you also magically align with the abundance of the universe, powerful forces of synchronicity. This creates conditions as possibilities that lead to the fulfillment of your highest intentions. But again, we can't do that if we are not willing to first let spirit in, acknowledge where we're still kind of hiding in our shells, letting go of our armor so that we can really come into that harmony. And it says harmony begins with the self and then resonates outwards to others. You're in harmony with yourself when you nurture yourself with love, respect, and acceptance, always fully taking responsibilities for your actions. Another message is resonation with the positive, fair resolution of all disputes. And so our last card is the card number 1, actually, from the Oracle of the Angels, which is higher consciousness. And I love the affirmation for this one. So that's what I'm going to read to you. I let go of the material world and open to my higher consciousness. Now, does this mean, just because it says I let go of the material world, all that's really asking you is I let go of my egoic view of the world. That's how I like to interpret it. I become aware of my greatness and my importance within the universe. That is not being arrogant or narcissistic. That is merely a statement of fact. You are a part of the universe itself. You play an intricate part, and you have to, again, accept that vastness within yourself. I believe in myself. I accept myself, and I love myself completely. My mission is important, and I live it fully. So it really looks like this new moon in Cancer is giving us this beautiful invitation to get out of our heads and into our hearts, to stop analyzing everything and to get out of that right brainness, but not go over all the way into, left brainness, but to have that beautiful harmony of being able to look at something and ask spirit, what do you want me to know about this? And there's a beautiful line from a Course in Miracles. And of course, you don't have to use, these words in this way, but it's basically pray, listen, follow. That's it. And that's what Spirit's asking us to do, to meditate or to come into a place of stillness so that we can listen to the universe. And what are we listening for? What we're really listening for, we're not listening for how Spirit can get us to where we want to go. We're listening to the voice for Spirit and what it has to say. One of my very favorite Course in Miracles teacher, Robin Duncan, said once, if you get the recipe for lemon bars, like from Spirit, like maybe you're in your prayer time, your meditation time, and you just get like this recipe that just comes out of the ethers for lemon bars, write it down. It's important. Spirit just doesn't give you things and say, well, here you go. Here's the recipe for lemon bars. It doesn't mean anything. It says, you're going to need this. I'm not going to tell you, necessarily when you're going to need it. I'm giving you step 1. And then Spirit will give us step 2 and step 3 and step 4. However, if we are trapped inside our own little box, and that little box is our agenda, what we think the outcome should be, the help that we need, the message that we think we need, then we're not going to be able to hear this. We're not going to be able to hear Spirit, because we basically blocked it out and we begin to doubt that inner voice. And we're like, oh, no, that's not it, because it's not matching up with what I want or what I think I want. And Spirit is asking us to surrender, because this is the Phoenix card, resurrection, surrender to change. We have to acknowledge that everything within this world is constantly changing, constantly shifting, and it's showing us what we believe in. So if we're seeing, shifts and changes in the world, well, we want to go to that higher consciousness. So we really have to ask spirit for that higher viewpoint. And as we do, we get the Queen of Light. And she tells us that we will be illuminated. We're going to be illuminating some dark shadows. And those shadows have no power. The shadows only have the power that you give them. But you have to be committed to acknowledging, where am I out of harmony in my life? Where am I out of harmony? Where am I still stuck in my own little ego box? Where am I still wearing my armor? Where am I maybe not fully committing to my commitments? Be they spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, like where am I not really committed? Where am I afraid as well to kind of move outside of my comfort zone? Be willing to acknowledge that and be compassionate with yourself. This is not to beat yourself up and be like, oh, I'm such a bad person. No, this is to become aware of it, because once you become aware of it, then you can give it over to the healer. You are not the healer, my friend. I used to believe that too. Like, I got to heal all this stuff. It's all up to me. No, your job is to acknowledge it. That's it. That's your job, to acknowledge and be willing to give it over to spirit, even if it's just a little bit of willingness. That's all spirit wants from you. Spirit's not asking you to be wholly willing to give it over, because if you were, you wouldn't need spirit, because you would just be like, oh, whatever, that's not real. Give that away. So, and this is something beautiful that I heard from spirit through Carol Howe, who is another beautiful Course in Miracles teacher. When these things come up, we have to stop seeing them as truths that need to be hidden, and simply as beliefs that need to be given away, or beliefs that need to be shifted or changed. And again, we're not in charge of that shift and change. We give it over to spirit. Spirit, you decide about this for me. Spirit, I give this over to you for the healing of my mind, however that's going to look. And, I'll give you a beautiful example from my own life. Yesterday, my sister came over. Normally, we go to a tap dancing class on Wednesdays. However, we weren't able to go. But she still came over for dinner. And so it was me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, myself, and our dog Balto. And, we were eating dinner, and we were, everyone was kind of done, and we were throwing stuff away, putting stuff away. And my sister's boss called and was like, hey, I really hope you don't have to go to this tap dancing class tonight. I'm really slammed, da, 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 da. And she was like, well, I guess I got to go to work. And I was like, why? Like, why do you have to go? And I said, you took the day off. This is something that you do. Well, yeah, but I already took Monday off, and I really want the money, And what I noticed then, and my mom was like, well, yeah, might as well go over there, get the money. And in that moment, I saw that there's a family pattern of being like workaholics and being like, oh, I got to work really hard. I got to work extra overtime, to get that money, to bring it in. I noticed it. And then from there, instead of getting down on myself, instead of trying to be like, well, guys, let's, think about this differently, they're only showing me my own belief. That's all they're showing me. So what did I have to do? It's in consciousness. I'm not saying anything to anyone. It's all up here. Spirit, I see that there is still a belief that I got to work really hard, that things don't come easily, that life is unfair, that the only way to get money is to work really, really hard, and so forth and so on. And so I gave that over to spirit. And the way I gave it over is just, I'm willing to see things differently. I want to see things differently. So again, we got to get out of that analysis paralysis and just be willing to acknowledge with compassion, surrender to higher consciousness, come back into that harmony, release the armor, kind of take it off, look at where we are committing ourselves or committing our minds. Are we committing ourselves to spirit, the truth, or are we committing our minds to the ego? Once we acknowledge that, come back into that vastness that we are, looking past our own comfort zone, our own beliefs, so that we can come back into full harmony with spirit and really follow our intuition. So that is this overall reading. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.